is Malcolm Van Kirk, and I'm one of the owners. I'm a co-owner of this wonderful DC-3 airplane. It's 983 Delta Charlie. I guess it's one of about 10,600 some DC-3s or C-47s that were built. We've enjoyed flying it for several years.
AOPA keeps flying safe, accessible, and fun by protecting your freedom to fly. We are the most trusted one-stop resource for all things related to general aviation. Become an AOPA pilot today.
It was originally Army Air Corps C-47, and then it went to the almost immediately to the Royal Canadian Air Force. And at that, they flew the airplane for about 7 years, and it was sold off as surplus at that point after the war. And then the El Dorado Mining Company got a hold of the airplane and turned it into well, they actually flew gold and uranium in it as a cargo plane. And in 1982, Air North purchased the airplane and flew it for another 16 years as an air carrier up in the Yukon Territory. The name came from up in the Yukon. This airplane, of course, flew gold, so sourdough is what they called gold up in the Yukon, and so they named it the Yukon Sourdough. Well, it's kind of interesting. Years ago when I had a flight school at Frederick, it was an overcast night, raining and low overcast at Frederick, and my brother and I were the only two people at the airport at that time, and over top we heard this sound, and my brother said, "Hey, that's a DC-3, and I said, "Yeah, so what?" And he said, "Well, we got to go take a look at it. He probably needs gas." So we ran out to the end of the runway on our golf cart, and sure enough, he needed fuel. So we were able to accommodate him to get some gas, and we said at that time that was in about 1990, that if we ever had the opportunity to buy a DC-3, we were going to get one. And fortunately for us, in 2001, this airplane became available. It's a dream. It's a dream. It flies like a Piper Cub. I mean, it's really just wonderful. Of course, it's a little dancy on landing if you don't know what you're doing, but we do have a locking tail wheel, but even with the locking tail wheel, you have 10 degrees right or left, and if you have a crosswind, it's a handful. It cruises at about 160 knots. It gets you along pretty good. It's got Pratt & Whitney 1830-92 engines. It got 1,200 horsepower per side, and it burns 100 gallons of fuel an hour. What do I love about it? Everything. It's the only thing that can replace a DC-3 is another DC-3. They've often said that if when the last 747 lands in the boneyard, there'll be a DC-3 there to pick up the crew. It's a very versatile airplane. It does more things than anybody ever thought it could do. Carried more load, and did a lot of things that most airplanes that size had no capability. Well, what we've been doing lately, we've been taking it to shows and demonstrating it to a lot of children and getting all kinds of people involved with taking a look at the airplane, getting inside the airplane, seeing how it was back in the day. When you go to shows, you can have all kinds of other airplanes there, but there's always a line to get in this one. Usually there's 150, 200 people in line, and even on the most heated, hot summer days, they don't get out of line. They want to get in this airplane. They want to see how it was back in the day, and that's what we're allowed to show them.